the Keizer City Council in regular session, Monday, July 1st, 2019, and it is 7:02, and we're a bit delayed due to showing our wonderful faces on camera tonight. So welcome, everyone. And Tracy, please call roll.
Councilor Herrera?
Here.
Councilor Parsons?
Here.
Councilor Smith?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
She's excused.
Council President Freeman?
Here.
Councilor Reed?
She's excused.
And Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the flag salute if you're able. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I don't have any special order of business tonight. Just looking around. We don't have anyone in the audience except someone that's going to talk later. So, okay, we'll move to committee reports. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. The Volunteer Coordinating Committee met on June 20th, 2019 to review applications and interview candidates for openings on several committees. The committee is recommending the following applicants for your appointment. Youth Counselor Christopher Wolfert to serve for the 2019-20 term beginning September 1, 2019, expiring June 30th, 2020. On the Stormwater Advisory Committee, Natalie Janey for position number 7, term expiring December 30th, 2020. On the Public Arts Commission, Jeremy Vargas for position number 1 and Lori Christopher for position number 6, both terms expiring June 30th, 2022. And the Festivals Advisory Board, Bob Shackelford for position number 3, expiring June 30th, 2022. It is recommended City Council accept these recommendations and appoint the applicants as outlined above. Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Any questions for the staff report? Hearing none. Councilor Herrera.
Okay, I move that the Keizer City Council approve the recommendation of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee and approve for Youth Counselor Christopher Wolfer to serve June 20th, June 20th, 2019-20 term, beginning in September 1st, 2019, expiring on June 30th, 2020. And for the Stormwater Advisory Committee, Natalie Janey for position 7, term expiring December 30th, 2020. And Public Art Commission, Jeremy Vargas for position 1, and Lori Christopher for position 6, both terms expiring on the 30th of June, 2022. And last but not least, my good friend Bob Shackelford for the Festival Advisory Board for position number 3, expiring June 30th on 2022.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Boom.
At this time is the time for public testimony. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for a public hearing, and we do not have any public hearings for tonight. So we will move on to administrative action. Item 8A is a resolution adopting the Housing Community Development Action Plan. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. City Attorney.
Well, I'm going to shortly turn this over to Mr. Brown for a little bit of an update, but you may remember that this came before council, and council asked for further information, and Salem representative appeared. And so now is the time to adopt the annual plan. However, I talked to Nate earlier today, and there were a couple minor changes that were brought up at the very first time that it was raised, as I recall. So I'm going to let him explain those, and I believe he discussed these with the mayor.
So, at the end of the first meeting that we had on this, there were some suggested changes by by Mayor Clark, and they basically centered around the fact that in a few spots in the report, it kind of has the voice that it's the City of Salem. And then though City of Salem does manage the program, it's actually the larger area that the report governs, and that's the entire, what is termed in HUD's parlance, is the Metropolitan Strategic Area, MSA. And so there's a couple of suggestions here to kind of correct that. And what you have on yours in talking with the Mayor Pro Tem before the meeting, we kind of think that it would be appropriate to substitute, instead of Salem Keizer, that it's actually the Salem MSA or Salem Metropolitan Statistical Area. So, so you can't look at this exactly verbatim, but in a couple of places you can. So on the first page, which is actually in the packet, it's page number 12 in the packet, and page number 7 in the report. There was also a discussion about the Mid-Willamette Homeless Initiative, and it was adopted, the current language says it was adopted in February of 2017. It used to say the City of Salem having funded the program coordinator position. Anyway, the mayor is suggesting that it would be the cities of Salem, Keizer, Independence, and Monmouth, and Marion County have funded a program coordinator position housed within the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments. So basically adding a list of the jurisdictions. Then again, in the packet, page number 30, I think we're getting called out on that. In the packet, page number 30, in the report, page number 24. So basically, it identifies an action, and then it's followed by, it's not applicable to the City of Salem, used to say. This is where, in talking with Mayor Pro Tem, it would say, this is not applicable to the Salem MSA. And then again, on page 29 of the report, I should have left this open, and page 35 in the packet, the second paragraph starts with high rents are to blame for the severity of the state's homelessness. The very last sentence of that used to say the average income of a Salem resident, and we are proposing that it would say the average income of a resident in the Salem MSA. So those would basically take it out of the voice that this is Salem show, and it would clearly put it into terms of the HUD. So with that, that's all that we had discussed.
Further questions for staff? Okay. Counselor Herrera.
Okay, I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2019 as amended, adopting the Housing and Community Development Action Plan, one-year use of funds, Salem and Keizer, 2019-2020.
Second?
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2019, adopting the Housing and Community Development Action Plan as amended, one-year use of funds for Salem Keizer area 2019-2020. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Am I supposed to use Sorry, not used to this. There's power up here. Kind of scary.
At least loud.
Well, I think that was loud enough to make up for the last time. So, okay, moving on to item 8B. I'm trying to get to my agenda here, and I'm sure we go to the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. The Keizer Chamber of Commerce, which, by the way, makes up 100% of our seated audience this evening, is requesting a fee waiver for up to 4 community conversation events, similar to those they have held in the past for this coming year. The conversations are open to the public at no cost and are an opportunity to engage the business community, community leaders, and citizens in topics that arise throughout the year. First community conversation would be scheduled for Wednesday, August 14th at 6 p.m. It would be an open dialogue on the topic of the Keizer Fest community event, which was a topic that was recommended to them by Councilor Parsons. And the rental rates for Keizer Community Center include a 25% discount for Keizer citizens and any Keizer-based 501c organization, of which the Chamber is one. And so the rates that I'm going to list for you include that. Each of the evening's rental rates would be $300 per event, which includes the discount. Staff costs are embedded in that. So if you waive the rental rate, you have to decide whether you're going to waive the staff cost part of that rental rate. And then there would also be a cleaning and security deposit of $750, which is refundable if it's not utilized. City Council does not have the ability to waive the requirement for a certificate of general liability insurance. Options to consider are to grant the request for a complete rental fee waiver, which would include the entire rate, including staffing costs, plus the cleaning deposit. You could deny the request for a complete rental fee waiver and charge them every penny. Or you could waive the room rental rate and security cleaning deposit, but charge the $80 for staffing. Staff recommends City Council discuss the request, consider the options presented, and direct staff accordingly. Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Any questions for staff? At this time, before we do that, I would like to invite Danielle Bethel and Jonathan Thompson to the table, if you would. They are representing the chamber tonight, and they have signed up for public testimony during this particular item. So welcome. And I know everyone knows you from previous times, but again, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Madam Mayor, members of the council, my name is Jonathan Thompson. I'm here on behalf of the Keizer Chamber Board of Directors tonight, and I am a Keizer resident. The city manager did a great job of summarizing it. I think we're heading into maybe the third year of our community conversations. We've done them on everything from the school bond to the new recycling rules and to Mr. Brown's favorite, River Road. That's your favorite. This year, we have tentatively scheduled one, as you just heard, to kind of get some more input on Keizer Fest and see what ideas the community has for that event moving forward. We don't really have any current plans on the other three, but as you know from previous years, those topics are, since this is a partnership between the chamber and the city, those topics are mutually agreed between the city and the chamber. The city in the past has provided the space, and the chamber has done the publicity and nailed down the speakers and that kind of thing. So we're interested in continuing the partnership if the city is, and I would be happy to answer any questions. Oh, before we get to that part, while we're on the subject of room rentals, the chamber will not, I repeat, not be requesting a room rental waiver for the First Citizen Banquet this year. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, or if my colleague has anything to add.
Perfect. Danielle, would you at least please introduce yourselves?
I'm Danielle Bethel, the director of the Keizer Chamber and a resident here. And I just want, for the record, everyone to know that he's today officially the president of the chamber.
Well, congratulations.
You miss a meeting, be there, be chair, So.
Council Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. So I had asked the chamber to do this based upon some rumblings we heard in the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association, and then at their meeting, they talked about the success of this. Once again, Keizer Fest being in the location that it's at. So I asked, that we could put this together so that we can get some input from all the residents of Keizer about what they think about Keizer Fest, where it's at, how much fun they have. But it's been successful. All the businesses around there, with the exception maybe of one, really taken it on and really enjoy it and kind of make even something out of it themselves. So I, for one, think that we should just do option number one and do all fees. Thank you.
Councilor Herrera?
Yeah, I agree with the option number one, and I want to commend you on these. This is a good subject to bring that up, especially at this time, for future, and I like the input. My question to you folks is, how do you get the word out there to, I would like to get more Latino folks out there, and I'd like to see what exactly you do to outreach for the Latino community.
You want to take that one?
Sure. Can you be specific on what you mean by whether we're talking about the community conversation or the festival?
No, the community conversation.
So we have hired an individual named Erica Martinez. She started with us in early May, and she's bilingual, and she has already started engaging the Latino community across the valley, not just in Keizer. She participates in organizations like the Latino Business Alliance. Next month, she'll be going to an event that's called Hispanic Pros, which is a
I'll be
very
there.
specific event to the business community of Hispanic individuals. She's also translating our documents, and we share those in different areas, particularly our schools. She was present at Claggett Creek Middle School's resource fair, which the Chamber supported in funding, and was a support in translation for a bunch of individuals there that was specific to Keizer Fest and things that were going on in the community with the Chamber. It'll continue to progress and grow in that particular area, but it's brand new. The Chamber's never had anybody who's bilingual before, and so I can only see lots of opportunity ahead of her. She's already tired, I'm sure of it.
Well, thank you for that. The reason I ask is because like Keizer Unite is a good place to get it out, and I will help do that.
Yeah, she attended there already and will
That's
continue to be
right. I saw
regular.
her there. The other thing that I suggest, one of the cops asked me about this years ago, and I always told them that, places where, like, they're on the soccer field, the churches and stuff, they have a part where you can announce announcements, and I will do that at our church, but I'd like to see more of that, and that's kind of cool that you have a person that can do that. That's, a growing population, as we talk about always.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very helpful, and I really appreciate, in the past, it was on like, well, we had it on the paper, and we put it on the internet, but the approach that you're taking is the correct one, and I just want to commend you on that.
Well, thank you. In addition to, just to kind of provide some feedback on the partnership piece of the communication. So the Chamber's always reached out to different organizations, particularly churches in the community. We have a database where we can email the different pastors and coordinators of those churches. And we can't specifically always just send out translated information because it's not always received by somebody that can read it. But it would be really helpful for those organizations to reach in to us to let us know what particularly Spanish or English they're looking for, and then we will put our best foot forward to make sure they're receiving it in whatever they're requesting.
Thank you very
In
much.
those two languages right now.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
Counselor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. It's fun saying that. I would just like to extend my appreciation to the council, the Chamber, for all the stuff that they have done in the last few months with me, and the work that they've done to reach out to so many different people and to make Keizer a better place. I just appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you. Do you have anything? No? Okay. So I know you mentioned you don't have any topics for the other three. So is this something the board's going to work on? You'll touch base with city manager? If there's someone in the community that would potentially be watching tonight, or Keizer 23 or online, can they reach out to Danielle at the Chamber or any staff and just say, hey, I have this topic, and then you guys decide if it's worth a community conversation?
Of course, yeah. I mean, if anybody has any suggestions, we're open to them. If any of you on the dais have any suggestions, we're open to them. Basically, we just want to, rather than come onesie twosie every time we want to have one of these, we'd like to get up to 4 approved tonight. And then if the topics present themselves, we'll move forward. And if they don't, then we won't. So, but yes, we're open to ideas from anywhere. There's no real formal process or anything like that. But like I said, if anybody has any ideas, we're open to listen. And if the Chamber and the city agree it's something to move forward on, then we have 3 more to go.
Perfect. And I thank you for your advanced dates. I think for all of us, I'll speak for everyone sitting up here, as busy as we are, as both of you, the more advanced notice we have, the easier it is to plug in the calendar. So thank you for that. Any further questions? No? Thank you.
All right.
Councilor Herrera.
Okay, I move that the Keizer City Council approve option 1, and that is to grant the request for complete rental fee waiver, room rental, including staffing and security, and cleaning deposit.
Second?
Further discussions? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we grant the Chamber option 1, which is to grant the request for a complete rental fee waiver, which includes room rental, including staffing and security and cleaning deposit. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5 with 2 absent. I forgot that last time, so my apologies.
There goes our audience.
I know.
100% of our audience. Is it something we said? Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, Counselor Herrera, would you read the consent calendar
All righty,
tonight?
here we go. Let me get organized here. Okay, what do we got on the consent calendar? We have a motion to approve the consent calendar for, okay, A, B, and C. We got A, resolution ratifying city manager and chief of police signatures on memorandum of understanding number 5 relating to 2018-2021 collective bargaining unit. B, resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into agreement with Salem Sign Company Incorporated, Ted Nugent Masonry, Nugent Masonry Incorporated, and Northside Electric for digital messaging board project here at the Keizer Civic Center. And C, approval of June 10th City Council work session, that's 2019, excuse me. And D, approval of June 17th, 2019 Keizer City Council regular session minutes.
Are there any polls? I'd like to pull item B, please.
Okay,
Madam,
so then we're just,
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
just a minor word on Resolution A. The last word is actually agreement, collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
It's correct on the resolution, so.
Okay.
okay,
Counselor Herrera?
motion to approve on the column, options A, C, and D. Now, do I have to read them all, or do you want? Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor of approval of the consent calendars, item 9A, C, and D? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So do I get to go on item B? Woohoo! I know, I pulled it. Well, I just want to make sure. So in, I know. The reason I pulled item B is when I had met with Mayor Clark, we just want to be sure that the pictures that were included in the packet didn't show our story pole trees out there in the picture. And so I'm trying to find it here, so bear with me. We just want to make sure, is the sign going where it reflects in this picture, or these old pictures?
There more than one picture?
Just the one?
It is going there, and it would, the picture would, I mean, this is representation, obviously, it's CGI or whatever they're doing here, but the story pole would be in back of the person taking this picture,
Okay.
looking from the west to the east.
So the sign's going to stick out more towards Schmall when the poles are back a little bit, is that what you're saying?
Just a little bit,
That was a nod, yes. Okay.
just a little bit.
Didn't you hear that?
Sorry, I just want to make sure, because someone may not be.
And
Okay.
strangely enough, and we do have a fair amount of linear feet here along Schmala, but this is really the only place where this sign is primarily visible from all directions.
Okay, perfect.
So there's like a 6 square foot area where we can stick the sign and people can read it.
And I remember having that discussion when we, early on in this, but
Yep.
in our review of this, she wanted to be sure. Okay, perfect, thank you. Counselor Herrera?
Okay, motion to approve on our calendar, that would be item B. And that's authorizing the city manager to enter an agreement with Salem Sign Company Incorporated, Nugent Masonry Incorporated, and Northside Electric for digital message board project here at the Keizer Civic Center.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar, item 9B. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 with 2 absent. Council liaison reports, and since Dan is my only person to my left, I'm going to start with him. Councilor Kohler, my apologies.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Now, Mr. Herrera, I just wanted to know if it was a Ted Nugent sign that would have a gun on it somewhere, but I can't do that. So on Tuesday, 6/13, I attended the funeral mass of former Mayor Dennis Coho. And I have some cards here if somebody wants to share with Lori some of their thoughts or memories that we're not able to get one of these cards. So I have some here. If you want to get some of those from me, she would appreciate hearing from you. And members of the community, if you'd like to card, we'll have some here at City Hall for you. And 6/22, Dennis was buried up in Deschutes Memorial in Bend. Tuesday, I attended the Volunteer Coordinating Committee from the audience. And then 6/26, I attended and helped with the Keizer Community Dinner, which was a big success. We had a lot of people there. It was a good thing to do. Thursday, 6/27, Officer Tyler Wampler retired, and congratulations to him and his family, and I understand he'll be hired back here shortly. And then the Keizer Points of Interest, Mr. Herrera, Councilor Herrera asked me to go to that, and then they canceled it just before, so not much to report from that one. And then next Monday, the 8th, is the work session.
Perfect. Thank you, Counselor Kohler. Counselor Herrera?
Oh, she says you're going all over the place.
I know, I'm just going,
Well, surprise, surprise. I just, I also attended Dennis's service, and as most of you know, Dennis was kind of like my mentor, sidekick, whatever you want to call, and I miss his daily phone calls, sneaking food over to his house, hiding stuff before Lori gets there. But I'll tell you one thing, it was well attended, and there's so many stories, I could make a book on Dennis, but long history with Dennis, and like I say, I miss him already. Also, I attended a conference the last week, and one of the big takeaways for me as far as community was our upcoming census, which is be the 2020 census, and I think it's very important in our community. I guess I learned, everybody thinks it's just about representation, but community funds, federal funds, and it's important, especially the community that needs to be counted. We need to make sure that we, and I'm going to participate in part of that too, on a subcommittee. So, and also on July, oh, by the way, the next day, on this Saturday, I attended a nice concert, ELO, which I really like. And I'm going to have a busy week this week, recovering from my injury. So that's all for me. Thank you.
thank you. Counselor Parsons?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. So I didn't have a lot going on. On the 22nd, I attended the Volunteer Coordinating Committee meeting, and we interviewed lots of candidates for several positions, as you heard. But one thing I just would like to say to the audience that's listening and to the members of the committee, I just want to apologize. We had a little stumble and kind of had a miscommunication, but it's a fix that we're going to fix, and things are going to move forward. So I just wanted to say that. Also, there's a chamber meeting coming up on the 10th. I will be out of town, Mr. Kohler, so would you be able to do that for me?
Which chamber meeting?
The Chamber of Commerce.
The luncheon?
No,
Oh,
no,
the board.
the board
Oh,
meeting.
The board meeting, okay.
I'm out of town for that, so
Okay.
I'll be on vacation. I'd also like to report that, I don't know how many of you know this, but on the 20th and the 21st of July, there's about 4,000 people or more coming to the city of Keizer to the Windsor Island Golf. It's a big event. It's called the Barbecue Bacon and Barbecue Steak State Championship. And they're going to have a car show. They're going to have over 50 vendors, and they found nearby parking, I guess. And anyway, I think it's like an $8 fee or $10 fee for the ticket or something, but it's a pretty huge event, and they expect roughly to 3,000 to 4,000 people coming to town. And so, please note that, Lieutenant Copeland. So,
Make it nice.
but anyway, it's going to be at Windsor Island Golf Center, so it's going to be closed to the golf, except for the pro shop will be open because they're debuting their indoor simulator for those golfers who still want to come and swing their clubs. But it's a big event, and we're excited that they're going to be able to host that and bring some new people to the city so they can see what we have to offer. So just want to make that announcement.
Nice.
And let's see. And then there's not going to be a Marion County breakfast this year. Don't forget the fair is coming up next week. Is it the
11th through the 14th.
11th through the 14th? Thank you. Marion County Fair. So if you get a chance, go, especially if you like animals, go there. And other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty quiet summer. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Smith?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I don't have anything to report on. It's been a quiet couple weeks.
Great. Okay, well, I don't have much to add. As we know, the 4th is a couple days away, so I would just encourage everyone to be safe. I did attend the Keizer Rotary Installation Banquet, which is Log House Gardens, food by Keizer Catering. It was a great event, in and out of the rain showers last Thursday night. Marion County Fair, July 11th through the 14th, and please go visit the flower exhibit and look for Commissioner Sampertano's succulent flowers that he never wins on, so I'm just promoting that. The Planning Commission is meeting July 10th still, correct, Nate? Okay, great. We do have our work session, we'll talk about that. No Marion County breakfast. National Night Out, Lieutenant Copeland, are you going to talk about that?
I certainly can.
Okay, thank you. I won't talk about it, and that's all that I have. At this time, it's time for other business, and this time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff the opportunity to bring new and old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Tracy?
I have nothing, thank you.
Tim?
Just want to wish you all a happy new fiscal year.
May the 4th be with you.
Tim's favorite day of the year. Yeah. Mr. Copeland?
Thank you. We have, July is a turn that on. July is an exciting month for the police department. I'll start with National Night Out since that was brought up already. That is August 6th. And if you wish to participate, just sign up through the police department. There's a place where you can sign up on the website, and our community outreach specialist, Mrs. Deal, will get a hold of you and arrange that. Last year we had approximately 45, I believe. Can't remember the exact number, but different block parties, and that was great. We tried to get to all of them. Not sure that we did, but also the fire department will be coming out, and CERT will probably join us as well. So that'll be a good event in August. Again, that's the first Tuesday in August. But this is the month where Blast Camp occurs, and that's bringing law enforcement and youth together, or students together. So that equals Blast. That's July 16th, 17th, and 18th. This year we had I don't know if it's a good record or bad record because a lot of people missed out on the signups, but we opened it and it closed, online registration closed within about 3 to 3.5 hours. And we had 250, we tried to close the camp at 250 kids, and we ended up with about 260 registered. So huge success. There's a lot of really cool sponsors that are helping us out with that. But that's a fun event, one I look forward to every year. We also have our 5K foot pursuit, which is July 27th, and we're partnering with the Special Olympics to raise funds for them. And if you want to be a part of that, we have 80 runners signed up already for that, which is more than we probably expected for the first time. We have some really cool sponsors for that one as well, and already we've raised, I think, over $5,000 for Special Olympics, somewhere close to that. So that's, we're seeing a lot of good success there, and the community's really helping out with that one. We're going to be at the Marion County Fair on July 12th. So if you're checking it out, come see the Keizer Police. We got a new booth we just created, and again, Community Service Officer Deal did a lot of work on that. And it looks really cool. We set it up last week here in the community center. We mentioned Officer Wampler. He is retired, or he has retired as of the 27th of June, and thank you to the city. I know there's some workings to make this whole thing happen. But we're going to contract back with him, and he's going to start back July 5th. And that really came out of the need. Officer Johnson and Lieutenant Inman retired quite some time ago, and we haven't filled their positions yet. We're hoping to fill those pretty soon. We've offered jobs. We're hoping that all works out on those two positions. And then we had Officer Kelly and Deputy Chief Coons retire May 31st. So that left 2 more openings. And Officer Wampler is just going to help us in the interim, keep patrol running and being able to respond to calls. So it's pretty exciting, a lot going on, a lot of movement. And we had a nice fire this morning. You guys saw that out at Wallace House Park. Not really sure how it started yet. Hopefully,
Get it under control finally, though?
they did. Yeah, it took a little while just because it's so far down on the bank. It was right next to the river. There's no easy access down there at all. So they ended up, the fire department did a great job. Salem Fire, Marion County Fire helped out as well, but Keizer Fire is awesome. We know that. They got all their guys down there and ran some pumps down and ran them through the river and then started pumping out of the river. So
Good training
they got it
exercise.
under control pretty quick.
Same.
So no houses were in danger. There's a little bit of smoke, as probably everybody in the community saw this morning. It's like, where's all this ash coming from? That's what it was. So that went on for probably, Keizer Fire, they were probably there all day. But the fire probably went on for about an hour.
Any thought it might be related to homelessness or?
You know, that was our first suspicion. We don't know yet. Where it started would be it was in a thick bunch of logs is where it looked like it started, so it wouldn't necessarily be a homeless camp. In that area, we saw a couple other fire pits down there, but those obviously weren't where it started. So we're not sure yet. Hopefully, we'll team up with Anne Marie from the fire department and figure it out.
Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Brown?
The only thing I wanted to share is that since you've mentioned the poles, the story poles, the actual carving of one of those poles begins next week.
Awesome.
So we're going to see some activity out there.
Chips flying
Chips
everywhere.
flying.
All right.
Yeah. And none too soon.
Yeah.
I noticed that the bark is finally about to give way on those trees. So anyway, we're excited for that project.
Mr. Johnson?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
And I have nothing other than I will be out on Wednesday putting bark dust down. So if anybody wants to help,
Come on over.
starts at 9.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, City Manager. So, Nate, can I just follow up with the story polls just so everyone knows if they're not aware, that particular cost is grant funded, correct?
It's, yes, 100% grant funded. No city funds are involved, and it's, the Oregon, I better get it right since they're providing the money. The Oregon Community Foundation supplied the majority of that, as well as the Keizer Chamber Arts Committee. What's the right word? Foundation. Not the Art Commission. That's us. The foundation.
Okay. Okay,
So, no city funds are being used in that.
perfect. Thank you. Okay. This time is the time for written communications, and I have two. One I know everyone's received. It's the League of Oregon Cities 94th Annual Conference in Bend, September 26th through 28th. And I know everyone has already let Tracy know if you're attending, but please do so, as it's a hot one and everyone loves to go to Bend. So, and then the other one that Mayor Clark received is a nice thank you note on this beautiful iris card. I know it's hard to see, but it's beautiful, and it's from Danielle Bethel from the Keizer Chamber. Mayor Clark and councilors, I want to personally thank you for your constant support, feedback, encouragement, not just for Keizer Fest, but all the areas we have had the opportunity to do good things together. Keizer Fest was a wet one this year, but all in all, a success. We will continue to work towards growth, community, togetherness, and just plain family fun. Thanks again, Danielle Bethel. So it's here if anyone wants to look at it. The card is actually beautiful. At this time, it's agenda input. So July 8th at 6 p.m., we do have a council work session, and it is in reference to the Charter Review Committee. July 15th at 7 p.m. is our City Council regular session. August 5th at 7 p.m., again, City Council regular session. Any other items for good of the order? Councilor Herrera?
I just got to mention this, Lieutenant Copeland here was talking about the blast camp, and working in schools or working with kids, and that's one of the highlights of a lot of kids, and they talk about it and they look forward to it, and I got to compliment you because I remember sitting in Chief's office when you were talking about this idea about having this camp, and you made it come to fruition, and it's a phenomenal event now. But I just want to compliment you on that because it's really the highlight of our community as far as the kids and the cops. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Nothing else for the good of the order? No, we are adjourned, and it's 7:41. Woohoo!
Not quite a record, but almost.